3, 2, 1. Hey, anime screamers! Welcome to my horror movie review, and I'm excited for this review. And it does have a soundtrack, so I'm actually just going to sing the last song of the movie. This psychological thriller is a British American psychological horror movie film, and this is Last Night in Soho, released in 2021, but it actually got released in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Honestly, this is actually Wright and Kristen's. This is actually Edgar actually written is actually his first ever produced. He actually produced this because he have a few credits. To tell you the truth, he actually directed the zombie comedy Shaun of the Dead, which I won't be covering because I already watched it and I should have started early. And Hot Buzz, it's a comedy, but it's not a horror movie. As science fiction comedy, The World End, again, it's not a horror movie, so base. And if you guys want to know if I'm going to cover anything created by the creators of Rosemary Baby or Jeepers Creepers, nope. Nope. My reasons are just like any other people. If they are registered as a sex offender and I will cover them when they're dead. And he actually produced Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, an adaptation from the graphic novel series. Also, the Adventure of Tintin, but he didn't. He actually written it. I will actually explain. And he co-wrote the screenplay for the Ant-Man. He directed Baby Driver and sparked the play. He did it all for he only got three executives, producers for Baby Driver, World's End, and Ant-Man. He only got two producer. He never there for producer. He never there for producer or writer or director or writer. He directed all three. He did all three of Fistful Fingers, Scott Pilgrim the World, and Last Night in Soho. He only did producer and yes for Brother Sparks. He only did two for writer and a director for The World's End, and he only did 2 for Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. And he only did 2, yes, for Baby Driver. And Kristen actually wrote 1917 with Sam Mendes. She actually co-written it, and The Good Nurse. And she also wrote the Penny Dreadful series. And let's get into the actors. First up is McKenzie. I'm actually just going to do Thomasin McKenzie's. I'm only going to do McKenzie's 2 horror movie roles because it will be a long list. Her 2 horror movie roles is on Old, which I already did. Old is a thriller, a Midnight Shyamalan based on sandcastles, which I actually loved in this film. It's very, they actually rapidly age. If you haven't checked it out, go so. And Last Night in Soho. And Anya Taylor-Joy. I already did Anya Taylor-Joy. Last scene, I actually mentioned her. Last scene, I already mentioned her as on the menu. Honestly, she played on the menu. But I will actually do The Witch because I haven't seen The Witch, so I'm actually going to do the review. Matthew Robert Smith. Matthew Robert Smith did Terminator Genesis, but I will actually have to watch all the Terminators because I haven't seen all of it. Patient Zero, Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. I will actually have to watch it. The Forgiven, and Mobius. Will I do it? Yeah. Heck yeah. Rita. I was going to do Downtown, but I'm actually not going to do it now. But she actually doesn't have anything but Last Night in Soho. But honestly, there's no Terrence Stamp. Terrence Stamp is actually he actually been in a lot of old-timey movies. But you can look it up on the Wikipedia page, and there. But I will tell you that I'm not going to look up Rick or Nolan and Rick Wikipedia page. this is why. These are their final films. Because they both died in 2020. These films, this film is there to dedicate their memories. Rick and Nolan are honored by this film. Honestly, it was created September 4th. It was actually produced in 2020, but it was actually released in 2021. But I will say that I'm not like Watch Mojo to dishonor memories of Rick or Nolan by using them as my guinea pig for my channel. I truly honor them. Rick was in Game of Thrones, while Nolan was in Goldfinger, and both of them would be remembered as legends. With 116 minutes, but the budget was 43 and box office is 23. Honestly, I say it's a masterpiece. But they couldn't help it because during the COVID pandemic, it surpassed the revenue. But they got nominated by the BIFA Film Award for Australian British Film and Best Sound. As some compared to the film to a darker version of the film Midnight in Paris. It's a darker version of Midnight in Paris. Yeah, it is a darker version of Midnight in Paris. Honestly, I cannot believe that Anya Taylor-Joy became Alexandra Sandy Collins in the past, and uh, and and Mrs. And the other Mrs. Collins by Dana Rigg as a older Mrs. Collins. Honestly, everything is actually let me begin. Um Eloise Ellie Turner. Yeah. A sweet maid trouble with mental health Love the music of the fashion and the fashion of the swinging 60s. It dreams of being a fashion designer. Her mother, also a fashion designer, killed herself in her childhood. So Ellie was raised by her maternal grandmother. She occasionally see her mother's ghost in mirrors, so, something that her grandmother is aware of. Ellie moves from a rural house near Ruffle Conwell to London to study at London College of Fashion. Honestly, she had trouble fitting with her peers, and her bullying classmate Jocelyn. Honestly, she's a bitch. Honestly, I really wish she died, but she survived. She's a bitch. Why she survive? Only John, another student that is kind of her unhappy in the dormitory. She moves into a bed sit owned by the Eloise Mrs. Collins. That Ellie have a vivid dream that she is transported back into 1960 at the Café de Paris. She observed a young blonde girl, Sandy, becoming a singer at the club, begins a relationship that with the charming mod of the manager, Jack. And the next morning, Ellie designed a dress inspired by Sandy and discovered a love bite on her neck. Honestly, it's like this. Ellie 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 could go back and forth between time, and she got a lot. You fucking liar! You fucking liar! No good liar. She got. $50. No, you get $50 a week. Don't tell me that. Oh, I don't believe that. Is that wrong? Nathan? Nathan! Okay. He was in here. So whatever happens to Ellie happens to Sandy also happens to Ellie. So Ellie has another dream that Sandy has a audition with the nightclub ran by Jack before to the same bedsit Ellie has rent. Inspired by the vision, Ellie dye her hair blonde, change her fashion style to match Sandy's, and get a job at a pub. As she discovered a silver haired man who recognized her similarities to Jack in further dreams, Ellie discovered that Sandy is not living life she had hoped, but now being pimped by Jack to his male business association. Honestly, this is where it get more and more menacing and disturbing. The men start to destroy the spot uh, and use Sandy after she has a vision of Jack murdering Sandy. She decides to track down the silver-haired man who, who she believe is Jack. She goes to the police as she did not is taken seriously through the kindly female detective express a concern for her well-being. She tries to find a newspaper report about Sandy's murder. Instead, she finds stories about local men vanished. He's actually a undercover vice officer that encouraged Sandy to escape the life of the president. Honestly, this is sh- sh- to tell you the truth. Um, well, here's the real story. She went back and Miss Collins. She went police because the nice check up on her. Then it reveals that she is Sandy, and Ellie's vision of her death was actually a vision of Sandy killing the. It's not of Sandy actually dying. Sandy, which is Mrs. Collins, killed Jack. He threatened her with the knife, and Sandy lured men she pimped to back to her room and killed them. Hide them in the house, floorboards and walls. Mrs. Collins drugged Ellie T. intention to kill her for her silence, and she Ellie got knocked over the tray and started fire. And John come in and Ellie aid and Mrs. Collins style hit and continued to after Ellie who hallucinated that Mrs. Collins as a younger Sandy and ascend a glass staircase. Ellie kick Mrs. Collins ascend the stairs. She flees to her room, where the spirits of Sandy's victims plead with her to avenge them, as she refuses. Mrs. Collins enters Sandy's room, where she also sees the spirits and struck with the police outside. She attempts unaliving herself, but Ellie stopped her, understand why she did what she did, Sandy tell Ellie to save John and herself remain in the building while it burns. Ellie enjoyed the success of her life. Designs are a showcase at the her end of the year fashion show and congratulated by John and by her grandmother and John. Ellie see a vision of her mother and Sandy in the mirror. Her mother, her. Okay. Okay. Okay, that how the movie ends. I am sorry, my it glitching out. And here's the a Anja Downtown is the last song by Anya Joy, and it only top A7 on the Billboard 200s. And thank you guys so much for choosing this, and I will actually do the knock at the cabin review, then the knock at the cabin review, and my and I will do Five Nights at Freddy's. Then I will do a new poll with new reviews. And I will go to my Thanksgiving Day of Horror. And I will start my 25 Days of Christmas. Of Horror Miss. After Thanksgiving. And like I say, we can scream on or scream off. Okay, guys, have a good day. Bye.